Hi students, I'm Madam Fuzia. Okay, today we are going to continue with Unit 2, Life's a Great Mysteries. Okay, under the topic, listening. Okay, for listening, before we start playing the audio, before I start playing the audio, what I want you to do is, you need to read the questions and also the statements. Okay, why? Because when you read the questions, you are going to know what you can focus on while listening. Alright, so so let's go through the questions first. Okay, you are going to hear someone talking about the legend of Robin Hood, a character who lived in England around the year 1300. Listen to the first part of the talk and circle the correct words. So the keyword is now circle. So when you are sitting for your listening test, you need to check for the keyword. Awak kena tengok apa yang awak kena buat. Okay, so it is a Robin Hood, the legend of Robin Hood. I'm sure you have heard of Robin Hood before. Legenda Robin Hood. Okay, the first one. According to the legend, menurut legenda, Robin Hood lived in Sherwood Forest, Nottingham Forest. Okay, di hutan Sherwood ataupun di hutan Nottingham. Which one? If you think Sherwood Forest is the answer, later on you circle. Okay, next. Robin Hood lived in the forest with his family and friends. Third, an outlaw is a criminal who is wanted by working with the authorities. Outlaw adalah seorang penjenayah yang dikehendaki bekerja dengan pihak berkuasa. Robin Hood and the Sheriff of Nottingham were well known to be friends, enemies. Robin Hood dan juga Sheriff of Nottingham dikenali sebagai rakan-rakan ataupun musuh. The legend says that Robin Hood used to steal from the rich poor. Menurut legenda, Robin Hood mencuri daripada orang kaya ataupun orang miskin. Okay, yang mana satukah? So we need to listen to the audio first before we can answer. So when you are listening to the audio, what I want you to do is, I want you to jot down the important points that you hear. Awak tuliskan mana-mana isi penting yang kamu dengar. Okay? So let's listen. Okay. Okay, which one? Alright, this one.
Unit 2. Listening. Exercise 1.
Robin Hood was a legendary character from medieval England. Legend has it that he lived in Sherwood Forest, near Nottingham, with a group of friends, finding food and shelter there and stealing from rich travellers who passed by. Because of this, he and his team of men were known as outlaws. That is, criminals who were wanted by the authorities. The man in charge of the area at the time was the Sheriff of Nottingham, and Robin Hood and the Sheriff were famous enemies. However, although Robin Hood and his men were criminals, they have always been considered the heroes of the people, because the legend says that they used to steal money from the rich and give it to the poor.
Unit 12.
Okay. So that is the audio for exercise 1. If you didn't get the answer for exercise 1, you can replay. Alright, so like this. So when I hear the audio just now, I already listed down the important points for the audio that I heard. And then, okay, then you can read again the questions and you can circle the answers. Okay, that is how you should do it. I already jot down my notes here, so I'm sure you have seen these notes. So it is up to you. You can choose your answers. Okay, next, let's move on to number 2. So we can make it bigger. Alright. Okay, look at questions 1 to 8 in 3 below, di bawah ini, and answer these questions. Okay, number 1. You have already heard the first part of the talk. Can you remember which words complete the first 2 sentences? If not, can you guess? Okay, now let's go through. The legend says that Robin Hood would steal money from wealthy, I think I know the answer, passing through Sherwood Forest. Okay, number 2, although there were really criminals, Robin and his men were actually thought of as, I think I already jot down the note up there, because they helped the poor. Okay, now let's go back to number 2. Sometimes you can work out what kind of answer will go in the gaps. What sort of answers will go in the gaps in questions 3 and 5? Now let's go here. The legend of Robin Hood has interested people for over, before modern communications, people used to pass down, what is this? Using songs and poems. Number 5, King Edward II was King of England from 1284 to, this one you should put the year, right? Good. Now let's go back to number 3. Question 4 refers to something being passed down. What sort of things can people pass down? Okay, what do you think? I think we have done this in previous topics. Pass down, yang boleh diwarisi. What do you think? Okay, number 4. What possible answers are there for question 6? Okay, now let's go to question 6. South Yorkshire is an area which is a short distance to the of Nottingham. Okay, maybe you should put the name of a town or place here. Okay, next, number 5. Have a guess at the answers for the other questions and write your guesses in pencil at the end of each question. After you have done task 3, see how close your guesses were. Okay, what is the meaning of guess? Okay, if you do not know, the meaning of guess is teka. So you just put your wild guess. Cuba teka sahaja. There is another word that has the same pronunciation as guess, which is guest. This one is tetamu. Okay. And okay, now let's take a look at this one. When you are guessing, you need to use pencil. Okay, why do you need to use pencil? Because you are not sure. So it is advisable for you to use pencil. Once you are confirmed with your answers later on, for example, during your test or exam, then you can change to use a pen. Okay, now let's go through the instruction and the statement for question 3. Okay, now listen to the whole of the speech about the legend of Robin Hood. For questions 1 to 8, complete the sentences with a word or short phrase. Isikan dengan perkataan ataupun frasa yang pendek. Frasa yang pendek ni mungkin lebih daripada 1 perkataan. Contohnya 2 perkataan, 3 ataupun 4. Alright, let's move on. Number 1. The legend says that Robin Hood would steal money from wealthy. Legenda mengatakan Robin Hood mencuri duit daripada kaya. Okay, siapa yang kaya ni? Passing through Sherwood Forest, yang melalui hutan Sherwood. Although there were really criminals, walaupun mereka memang penjenayah, Robin and his men were actually thought of as because they help the poor. Robin dan rakan-rakannya dianggap sebagai sebagai apa? Kerana mereka menolong orang yang miskin ataupun yang susah. The legend of Robin Hood has interested people for over. Legenda Robin Hood menarik minat orang ramai sepanjang ataupun telah berapa lama. Okay. Before modern communication, sebelum komunikasi moden, people used to pass down orang menggunakan ataupun orang menggunakan apa untuk mengapa? Menggunakan lagu dan juga sajak. Okay, next. King Edward II was King of England from 1284 to Raja England II adalah seorang Raja England daripada tahun 1284 sehingga this one you put year I think. South Yorkshire is an area which is a short distance to the South Yorkshire adalah satu kawasan yang mempunyai yang ada jarak yang singkat ataupun dekat dengan apa? King John ruled England before King Edward II. King John menguasai kawasan England sebelum Raja Edward II. Robin Hood is a popular character in films and on television because he helped the blah 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 and was against the wealthy rulers of the period. Robin Hood adalah satu karakter yang sangat popular di dalam filem dan juga televisyen kerana dia banyak membantu dan tidak suka kepada pentadbir yang kaya pada zaman tersebut. Okay, so you already know the meaning of the statement and the questions. Okay, now, so let's listen to the audio.
Exercise 3.
Robin Hood was a legendary character from medieval England. Legend has it that he lived in Sherwood Forest, near Nottingham, with a group of friends finding food and shelter there and stealing from rich travellers who passed by. Because of this, he and his team of men were known as outlaws, that is, criminals who were wanted by the authorities. The man in charge of the area at the time was the Sheriff of Nottingham, and Robin Hood and the Sheriff were famous enemies. However, although Robin Hood and his men were criminals, they have always been considered the heroes of the people, because the legend says that they used to steal money from the rich and give it to the poor. People have been fascinated by the legend of Robin Hood for over 700 years. However, nobody knows for sure whether Robin Hood was a real person or a myth. And if he was a real person, then who was he? Most of the evidence we have comes from songs and poems that were written from around the year 1400 onwards. In the days before television, radio, and even books, news and stories would be passed down in this way, and a character called Robin Hood was certainly very well known as a famous outlaw at that time. Another source is the official records of the period, one of which says that a man called Robert Hood was working as a servant for King Edward II, who ruled from 1284 to 1327. One problem that historians have, however, is that Robin or Robert and Hood were very common names in medieval times, so it's difficult to prove whether any of these men was the Robin Hood of the legend. Although Sherwood Forest is generally assumed to be where Robin lived, several early poems also indicate that an outlaw of the same name lived in South Yorkshire, which is a little way north of Nottingham. As the two areas are quite close, and Robin may have moved around to escape the authorities, it's quite possible that he lived in both areas. We don't even know exactly when he lived. We have the official record connecting a Robert Hood with King Edward II, but later theories connect him to a different king, King John, who ruled a whole century earlier. Despite the confusion, Robin Hood and the other characters in the legend have remained popular until today, and they attract thousands of tourists to Nottingham and Sherwood Forest every year. Many films and TV series have been made about the outlaw who fought for the common people and against the rich rulers of the time. There is even an organization in modern-day New York City called Robin Hood, which continues Robin's mission by giving financial support to the poor. Although we may never solve the mystery of who Robin Hood really was, his legend lives on.
Unit 4.
Alright, so that is the audio for exercise 3. If you didn't get the answers for the blanks here, you can replay the audio. Alright, so that is your task for today, which is you need to do activity 1 and activity 3. So I will put the Google form and the Google Classroom, and also I will put in your class. So what I want you to do is to fill in with the answers. If you have no access to Google Classroom, fret not, you can also write the answers in your grammar and comprehension book. Alright, so that's all for today. See you next time.